and then nothing gets done.
Climate change scientists like Dr. Steve Running, the Nobel laureate here at the university, says it would be criminal to approve any new coal plant that didn't sequester its carbon, because any new coal plant that didn't do that would be adding to a problem that we are far from solving.
Well, we are far from solving it, and there are still many debates on that particular issue. I remember when I was in college, and it was 1974, and I looked on the cover of Time magazine, and it showed a picture of the skyscrapers in New York City, and coming down the various streets in the skyscrapers was a glacier coming down the streets. And it was, the big fear at that time was global cooling. We're going to have the glaciers moving back across the states, and what are we going to do, and how are we going to solve this? And actually what had happened from about 1950 to about 1975 is that the Earth's temperature was cooling, and that there were a lot cooler years in those days. And as natural with the Earth, it changes, and it goes up and it goes down.
So you're not convinced that climate change is...
I'm not convinced that it's all caused by man-made forces. I think that there are so many forces in this country and in this world that are natural that cause these problems, and that we have seen this happen many times over the millions of years of history, that the Earth has cooled and it has warmed, and
so
it has cooled and it has warmed. And I don't, personally, I'm not sure that anything that we as humans can do will solve this problem. When you are talking about a percentage of 99.6% is coming naturally, and then the other 0.4% comes from human terms. Well,
so Dr. Running's just wrong.
Well, he could be wrong, and but there are. I guess you would have to ask the question where all the other scientists that say that he's wrong are. I guess they're wrong too. So we have a debate on the issue, and I'm sure that we're not going to solve it here today. But I'll tell you what would be a crime. Is if we don't develop our natural resources and our schools continue to deteriorate, and we have to raise taxes to the maximum, which again puts us into a poverty situation in Montana, and then we have no money for anything again.
Former presidential candidate Mike Huckabee stumped for you in Montana.
He did, yes. Nice to have him here.
He advised you at that time to run a positive campaign and not attack what is a popular governor. You don't seem to be following his advice?
Well, I have to explain to people why I'm running. And when I see things that I don't think are good for Montana that are going on, I mean, why would I be running if I didn't disagree with what the governor was doing? And I'd just be on board with him for everything that he's done. And I don't agree with everything that he's done. I don't think a $400 check in the mail that cost almost $10 million to administer is what I call property tax relief. It's simply a refund of an overpayment in taxes. And so when I see something like that, and then I see revenues that are there to support real property tax relief, I don't know about you, but my property tax bill went up more than the $400 that I got, and I had to pay tax on the $400 too. I want real property tax relief, not a one-time only gimmick just to get votes. And that's what I felt that was.
You used to be in the oil business.
I did, yes.
And you brought up the high price of gasoline. Oil companies' record profits.
Sure.
Are they the villain here?
Well, I don't think that they're a villain. I think that, there are a whole combination of things. When you talk about oil companies, only about 15% of the energy or the oil production in the world comes from independent companies. The rest come from foreign governments. They are national governments that own the oil, and they are really the culprits in this situation. You have to look at the fact that it takes a tremendous amount of money to develop these reserves and to drill, but it's extremely expensive. Any one of those wells up there in northeastern Montana are now costing several $1 million to drill.
They can afford it, I would say.
Yeah, well, they should be able to afford it, and but they can't just give it away. They have to make a profit so that they can pay for the next well and the next well. At the same time, they should be helping out with various things around the country and being helpful to communities around the state that are. So they have a social responsibility also that they should be looking at.
You've been outspent in the campaign, which isn't surprising given the incumbent, very popular governor. How do you win?
You know, I don't really judge things on how much money we raise. We are going to need money to get our message out there, and I've been humbled by the support that I have gotten all across the state from people that are willing to help our campaign. We are never going to raise as much money as he has. He handles the bully pulpit very well, and he is able to get the money out of people a lot easier than I am, because, you know, they need access to the governor, and they don't get it unless they do that. So that's a major problem for me, but I still think that if I can get the resources to get my message out there in the last 2 months of the campaign, that we can be successful with this race, because we have a message that of higher paying jobs, and of lower taxes, and of a stronger economy, and a quality education for our students here in Montana. And I think that resonates well with with the people of Montana. You know, people are starting to realize that we've had a heck of a lot of talk, but not much has happened. And what have we gained for this huge increase in spending that's gone on over the last 4 years? I think the rhetoric is not matching the reality.
Well, I've been speaking with Roy Brown, who's the Republican candidate for governor of Montana. Mr. Brown, thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed it.